Hi everybody, my name is Nozibele Kamgana Mayaba and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, ever since we did the Mayaba Love Journey with school, we've been getting a number of requests to cover different topics, which we started doing so in previous videos. So today we are covering, our wedding day, some of the things that went down when we were preparing for our wedding, because a lot of people have been asking that, what made you do a white wedding? Did you do a traditional wedding? How much money did you spend? How much support did you receive from your families up until the day of the wedding on the 12th of April 2019? Now, let me make this very clear. The topic of today is my low-cost wedding, including my wedding dress from China Mall. Ne? I always get hit about this topic because everyone or some people are like, listen, don't come here with that janjarak behavior telling us we should spend less on our wedding because we can afford so. So if you can afford so, then keep it to yourself. That's not the point, guys. I am just sharing from my own experience and the route that we took to plan our own wedding. Not to say there was no money to spend. There was money to spend, but we did not have money, specifically 100,000 rand to spend on a wedding. Now, we're very clear about that. But I would explain that quite later in the video in terms of like what decisions that we made before we even started planning the wedding. Now, before I even start, I feel like I need to tell the story. Everything that I learned about weddings, I always credit my brother because obviously my brother got married like way before me, right? I remember it was, I think it was about 2006 or 2007. So my mom discovered that my brother was dating. Now, guys, I'm not going to even repeat like some of the things like that happened when a parent, specifically my mom, finds out that you're dating. I've already, discussed all of that. So she found out that my brother was, dating. Not only dating, he was dating inside the church. I've already explained how much of a taboo that is, okay? So this went on for a couple of months and my mom was observing this, right? And not only her, but some also the congregation that, from the church, the fact that Malatisi is dating inside the church, and it was a big deal, guys, So my mom at one point was like, Malatis, come here, Malatis is up. I just want to make this very clear, I've been observing this thing that you are doing with this girl, and I don't want to be part of your fornication. I was like, wait a minute, like when did it like go to fornication? They were probably going to movies or anything like that, nothing really hectic. But as I said, in our family, in our church, dating equals sex. And sex before marriage is forbidden, right? So she calls my brother and says, Melissa, Zap, Maltis, come here. I want to tell you that I'm not going to be part of your fornication. So what you need to do is you need to decide with this girl what you want to do. And then I'm giving you two options. Now, my brother was 20, 23, 24. I want to give you two options. Option one is that you basically leave all of this thing that you're doing. And then whatever you're doing this girl, it needs to end right now. And then or the second option that I'm giving you is that you need to marry this girl. Yeah. And she's like, I'm giving you a couple of days for you to think about it and come back to me. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, my brother is going to be like, either he's going to take a stand, that, listen, this is my life, ma. I've been good all my life. So a little dating it wouldn't hurt. Do you get what I mean? Because he's 24. And at that time, he wasn't working, right? So I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't make any sense for my brother to get married because there's a lot of processes that are going to have to happen. He's going to have to go to the girl's family, and pay lobola, money to the bride's family. And we're gonna have to plan a wedding, which costs a lot of money. So my brother, we cannot afford all of that. It's gonna be a lot of money that we don't have. And even if it goes that route, then that means that my mom is gonna have to go to the bank and ask for a loan, which was out of the question. And also, I was in my final year of high school. And things were a little bit shaky between my dad and I, in terms of whether I'll be going to university and if he's going to pay for it. So anyone that needs money in this house, it's going to be me. All right. So anyway, my brother then goes, the second also option that I thought he's going to make is the fact that, okay, I'm going to leave it because I'm not going to get married. A couple of days after that, my brother goes back to my mom and says, no, we're chosen to get married. Hey, guys. So my mom goes to now the bank to loan money because now they need to go to the bride's family and basically now, ask for a hand in marriage. We need to plan the wedding as well. It was just a lot, guys, like for about 6 months planning the wedding. And also, my brother was now getting married to a perceived well-established family, the professionals and all of those things. So the wedding needs to be of a certain quality, a certain caliber that I knew for a fact that we couldn't meet those standards. I was 16, but I was like, I'm pretty sure like we're not going to meet the standards unless my mom goes into real debt to pay for this wedding. I don't see this happening. Anyway, so as I said, my mom goes to ask for a loan, and basically we need to plan the wedding. It was just a lot, guys, money, managing the expectations from both families. As I said, particularly knowing that my mom cannot afford all of this. But again, at the end of the day, like the bride's family, took most of the responsibility. And my brother just basically needed to, and my mom basically needed to take care of our side of the family. So making sure that, when the bride is being brought into her new family, we cater for the people that are coming through and the whole ceremony and all of it. So what I mean about that, it was a lot, and I told myself already at 16 that if I get married, and if I choose the route of, doing a white wedding, I want something very, very small. If it was up to me, then I would have actually gone to court. Okay, I would have gone to court with the school and went on sign, the papers that say we are married. That is it. I think you pay about 100 rand or less than that, and that would have been it. But unfortunately, I had to be realistic. I am the youngest and the only girl in my family. So me getting married, I knew was going to be a big deal. The only thing that I knew I was going to have a challenge with was managing the expectation of like how big of a wedding did my family think I should have. So the starting point, obviously, school proposed middle of 2019, and right there and then I was like, school, we shouldn't tell our families. We didn't tell our families because school proposed August or end of July. And I started to do not tell like our families, because if we tell my mom has been waiting for this day since I was born. So if we tell our mom now, and then if we tell my mom specifically now, she's going to want us to get married tomorrow, and I am not ready. I feel like I need proper planning for me to do this wedding. So we didn't tell my mom up until like November. Like I would wear my wedding ring, my engagement ring at work, and then as soon as I get home, like I would take it off, or like I'll wear it in a different finger so that it doesn't show. But okay, what ring is this? It's like, yeah, no, it's a decorating ring or whatever the case may be. She didn't ask anything. So eventually, end of November, I told her that, okay, there are people, school's uncles that are gonna come to my house to ask for my hand in marriage, right? And now I don't want to get into this topic, quite heavily because of the respect, I know I want to give to both families. So one of the things, I started engaging my mom in is the lobola process. Now the question was, okay guys, what kind of wedding do you want? My mom was very clear. Whatever you guys decide, or whatever you want, you need to make sure. Actually, both families were like, there's going to be a white wedding, whatever you had in mind, we don't care. This is going to be a white wedding. So, okay, I was like, okay, I don't mind a white wedding. It's fine. It's actually very nice. But from the onset, like school and I, discussed this in thoroughly, that we do not want a concert. We don't want a concert. We want a wedding. We don't want an event with 1,000 people and half of the people we don't know. We want a very small wedding, with very close family friends, people that we know, people that, we're very close with, that are going to share, on the festivities of, our wedding and celebrate with us. So on the onset, I said to my mom, like, I want 100 people. And she thought I was joking. And I was like, lady, I'm not joking, I need you to be very sure that I want 100 people like at my wedding. He's like, no, like what about my church people? Like already it's more than 100. I'm like, wow, buddy, you're gonna have to make a list. Okay, because I'm going to give you a specific number of people, specifically like 2 tables of 10. So 20 people, I'm going to assign, including you, Annette, that are going to be assigned, to you at the wedding. So you only have two tables, and you better make a list in terms of priority, like your pastors and everyone like that, who's going to go. Otherwise, I'm not inviting the whole church. Okay? So anyway, she didn't think like I was being honest. I was like, okay, this lady thinks I'm joking. Like, I'm not joking. We're going to have a small wedding with family and friends with about 100 people. So the first thing that we needed to do when it comes to planning our wedding is decide on a budget, right? It was very important for both of us to say, one, we don't want to spend more than 100,000 rand on our wedding. Even 100,000 rand is quite a stretch. Like 50,000 will probably be enough for our wedding, or even less. Okay. So that was a thing that was very much important. Decide on a budget. So our budget was, okay, a 50,000 minimum, or even less. It will be quite nice, but definitely not more than 100,000. So the first thing that we did now is to look for, venues. Different venues, guys, that were like, okay, for only a venue, the chapel and the food, 100,000. 100,000! What about the decor? What about the dress? What about transport? What about other things? So 100,000 only for a venue, a chapel, and Ilanduka and the food. I was like, no, thank you. Like, I started looking like at venues around Port Elizabeth, and this particular venue, it was quite nice, but I was like, no, it's fine. Next. So the one I started speaking now to a colleague of mine, just understanding, like, is there any place that she knows, like, that I could, look into for our wedding, something small, very nice and intimate. And it appeared that they had attended a wedding a couple of months before. The venue that she was, referred me to was about 20 kilometers away from our house. So it was very, excluded. Literally, you cannot even take a taxi to go to that venue because it's out in the fields, like in the forest. I went to the venue and I really liked it. Actually, I liked the scenery of it. I liked the fact that there was a chapel outside where we would get married, and then there was a reception area. Literally, you walked to the reception area. I wasn't particularly fond of the decor. I felt like it was a bit too busy. So the guy was like, no, we can basically do and customize to whatever you want. And I said, I only want white and silver. Take out all the pinks that you have. Take out all the blues, all the gold, everything. I just want white and silver because I thought it was quite nice and simple and elegant. And one of the things that also really attracted me, obviously, is also the price. So the guy basically runs packages. So the package was 100 people, which was plus like the number one thing that I was looking for 100 people, decor, champagne for each, table, food, decor, DJ, the venue in terms of the chapel and the reception area, all of that for 30,000 rand. I was like, yes! This is exactly what I want. Ha! They don't know me. Literally, I deposited my money on that day. I did not go to view any other places. I viewed that one for 100,000 rand, and then I viewed the one for 30,000, So now that I had the venue, then now I needed to start, with the invitations, save the dates. Now, guys, once again, someone might say I'm very cheap. It's fine. I don't care. It works for me. Okay. So one thing I also decided when it comes to the invitations, how people, have fancy invitations. I've received a couple of invitations. They're really nice. Like, they're fancy artwork. They're really fancy. I was like, because like I've seen it in my house when we're given an invitation, then we don't do anything with the invitation after the wedding. Literally it gets thrown out like in the trash. So I was like, I'm not gonna waste money like 10,000 rand on invitations and then afterwards people are gonna throw them in the bin. Yeah, okay guys. So there's an online platform that I use. It's called www.canva.com. I basically put it underneath. So it has different like templates that you can use for weddings, for birthdays, for wedding anniversary, any event that you have. So I found a couple of things that I really liked. So that's how I used, that's how I had my save the date. And also I had my wedding invitation. So after I had concluded, my save the date and the invitation, I basically sent them to people via email and WhatsApp. Guys, once again, if you're telling me I'm cheap, it's fine. I don't care. I've heard it before. It works for me. Okay. So I sent them through email and WhatsApp. But then my mom was like, listen, my people don't have WhatsApp. So you need to print a couple. So I basically only printed about 30 invitations, which 30 versus 100. Do you get what I mean? I think I only paid for about 600 rand to print those invitations, which was fine for me. It was better than, paying thousands of rands for invitations, as I said, that are going to go in the trash. Now, a lot of steps have already been covered. I have the venue, I have the chapel, I have the food, I have the decor, I have the DJ, I have champagne. And by the way, also, during the venue, I provided like first drinks and the champagne per table for the toast. And then, people can do cash bar after that, guys. Because if you're going to cater for people's drinks, someone is drinking whiskey, some other people are drinking something different. You end up with a bill of 25,000 rand. Okay. And it's very common, guys. Don't judge me. It's very common to have a cash bar in events. So I had a cash bar. I provided first drinks, but after that, people can basically just order what they wanted. Now I needed to figure out, okay, what do I want to wear and whether or not am I going to have, bridesmaids and all of that. So Sco and I decided that nope, we are not going to have bridesmaids. Wow, guys. Okay, now that I'm saying all of this, it's quite funny. Okay, we're not gonna have bridesmaids. One, because I feel like I don't even have like a number of friends that I'm really, really, really close with, and I didn't want to take like kids from church, that I was not even familiar with, because that's the norm. If you don't have like really, really, really close friends, then other people opt to have like take a few people from church, like youngsters from church, to provide the whole step, all that jiving before the wedding and during the reception and all that. I was like, no, buddy, my husband and I am going to do all the jiving and all the things, so we don't need anyone to hype up the wedding. We're gonna do that, all of that. So we didn't have bridesmaids, so that cut the cost quite significantly. That didn't go without its controversy, because my mom was like, hey, I can go. I've never seen a wedding without bridesmaids and without a flower girl. I was like, yay, I'm going to be the flower girl myself. In any case, people should be looking at me, not the flower girl or the bridesmaids. So the cutting of costs also helped, because we cut bridesmaid and the flower girl, because you need to basically accommodate them with what they're going to wear. And if you're going to have like change of outfits, you're going to have like 2 outfits per person. You're going to have shoes for them. You're gonna have to cater for their makeup. Guys, that's too much. That's really too much for me. For someone else, it might be okay. For me, I thought it was too much. So I did not have all of that. So I cut all of that. It was the same with school, but we did have a matron of honor, and also school had a best man, So those are the only 2 people. And what's lovely about that is that they accommodated themselves. They, they wore whatever they wanted, which was another thing, guys. When it comes to like a theme, people are like, no, but you need to tell us like what we should wear. I was like, guys, just wear what you want. I do not have any preference in terms of, oh, should we wear black? Should we wear white? wear whatever you want, cream, white, whatever the case may be. I didn't mind. And then now it needed to come to my dress. Okay, so once again, I've seen, yo guys, I went now online and searched like how much are, you know, wedding dresses. I saw like 5,000 rand, 10,000 rand, even going up to 20,000 rand. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was like, guys, I cannot be spending so much money on a dress that I'm going to wear once. So I went to China Mall. Okay, now when I say China Mall, people think I'm saying I went to China. No, guys, you know, in every city, and you know, there's you know, Chinese you know, that set up businesses, and basically they have their whole community. So in Joburg there is a mall, you know, where it's basically named after China. It's called China Mall, and have different suppliers. 50% of those supplies come from China, you know. And basically I went looking for my dress there. They are beautiful. I mean, beautiful dresses there, okay? So I went there and I knew I was going to get something very affordable. Guys, the dress with the veil and like the petticoat, like the stuff that you put underneath to make the dress quite flowy, it was about 3,000 rand. Huh? 3,000 rand versus 10,000 rand versus 20,000 rand. Yeah, guys, that's how I roll. Like, that's my price range. That was my price range initially. So that's how I got my wedding dress, and I was quite really happy about it. So, and then I chose whether I wanted like a second dress, you know, for the reception, or I actually like wear the same dress. If it was by me, I would have worn the same dress for like 5 hours or 6 hours or 7 hours or 8 hours, because that's how long sometimes these festivities go for, because the speech is, ooh, guys. But I thought to myself, okay, let me now have like a second dress, you know. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not gonna buy the second dress, because I cannot have like 2 dresses that are gonna be in my wardrobe. That's not gonna happen. I could sacrifice for the other one, but I'm not gonna do it for the second one. So I went like in PE, there's like a wedding shop that, like, you know, hires out dresses, and I found the one that was like figure hugging, you know, tight on my body, showed off my curves, and basically they were like, it's 1,500 rand. I was like, yes. So basically, guys, I spent less than 5,000 rand for 2 dresses. And after the dress, then it was the shoes, right? So I thought to myself, actually, people are not gonna see my shoes. And I was trying to be a cheapskate, I know. People are not gonna see my shoe because the dress is quite long, right? So I was like, okay, let me go and see and like really shop around for the shoes. Guys, I went to China Mall once again. I got my shoes from China Mall for 200 rand, right? 200 rand. I took even 2 pairs because I knew that I was going to really use them afterwards. Then it was my hair. So guys, this thing, you know, extensions, weaves are quite expensive. You know, they don't come cheap. So from like the things that I've seen around, online things, these things can cost about 5,000 rand, you know, 3,000 rand, 2,000 rand. I was like, yo, son, I can't do it. Like 2,000, 3,000 rand for hair. And even hair that's not my own. So I went, I remember like near our place, there's a very small shop that sells like hair, natural hair, like extensions, weaves. And I was really lucky at this one point, which is something that I really emphasize. Take your time to plan your wedding, because, you know, it gives you enough time to look at other specials going around so that you don't pay like the normal price. So for example, for my hair, when I went to look around, there was a special running. So it was like, I think it was a 14-inch or a 16-inch. I don't know the inches, guys, but I know it was somewhere here. Yeah, it was somewhere here. It was like in bundles. So it was not the proper, it was not already made. It was in bundles, and it was about 800 rand. I was like, yes. So the only thing that I needed to do is basically go to a hairdresser, the person that is going to basically do my hair on that day, on the wedding day. And she basically charged me, I think 500 Rand. If I'm not mistaken, 500 Rand or 600 Rand to basically do the hair, to make it into a weave, and basically also style me, on my wedding day. And then for my makeup, something very nice, very simple, not overly the top, because I'm not a makeup person. So my makeup artist charged me 350 Rand. Guys, hi, gag. And she did like a really nice, subtle, but really nice, like you can see that it was makeup, but it was not overly the top. She did my eyelashes, she did my eyebrows, she did my, rosy cheeks, my, my lipstick, everything. And I looked absolutely beautiful. So that 300 Rand was only for me. As I said, there were no bridesmaids or, matron of honor did her own makeup. No one in my family wanted makeup. My mom doesn't wear makeup. My sister-in-law doesn't wear makeup. So it was only me. I paid 350 Rand for my makeup. And then it comes to a transport, guys. So I thought to myself, okay, the only people that I need to transport basically is my mom, myself, and like 3 of my nieces, right? They're just attending the wedding. They're not flower girls or anything like that. My brother has his own car. Okay, and everyone else has their own car. Okay, so I was like, okay, it has been my mom's dream for me to go into like my wedding in a limousine or a helicopter. So like, no lady, a helicopter is out of the question. There's not gonna be any helicopter. I can do a limo, I can do a limo. So I reached out to like a local company, and they basically charged me like 1,000 Rand to pick me up from my house to the venue, where the venue, as I said, was about 20 kilometers away from my house. And then they basically did like a complimentary champagne. It was like a white limo. It was quite nice. And I said, and they asked me, do you want like a lift back after the ceremony? I was like, no, who's gonna see that? It's gonna be like in the evening. Everyone would have been gone. So going back to my house, basically Square and I used our car. And then the other thing that really saved us money is the fact that I said to my mom, I asked my mom, actually, I was like, listen, you know how there's a bridal shower and then, all of those things, which you basically have to cater for. So it's basically like an extra 50, 60,000 Rand that you have to cater for on top of the, the wedding budget, which I was like, no, guys, I don't have like 60, 1,000 Rand or 50,000 Rand, because you need to remember, I know it's about celebrating, the bride and all of those things. Like the 50,000 Rand that you spend, hoping that, no, but people are gonna wanna, bring presents, shower me with gifts. Sometimes the gifts are not even like compensating for that 50, 60K, guys. So I was like, guys, no, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, also what I did know was that if I did like a bridal shower, like a kitchen party, whoever I invited to the kitchen party that is going to give me presents, I'm gonna probably have to invite to the wedding. And it's quite like a limited number of people that I'm going to invite to the wedding. So I might as well cancel all of that, If my friends and my family members wanted to give me gifts, then there was a section in the wedding during the program that people can give me gifts. If they didn't want to, then it was okay. In actual fact, like I actually had just preferred them to just come and just enjoy themselves. Anything that we needed, I knew we would just get ourselves, or we already have. So guys, that was really basically our wedding. Very low cost, very, nice, small and intimate. We were very clear from the onset of what we wanted. We didn't want anything extravagant because we're not proving a point to anyone. It was about Square and I and joining our families together, and everyone basically really, really had a good time. I loved how everything looked. I loved how school looked. I loved how I looked. I thought I looked really, really beautiful. Until this day, we're quite happy. We married. We didn't go into debt. That's another thing, guys. What I was very, very much, emphasizing on is that I am not going to go into debt, for this wedding. I'm not going to do that. Both of us are not going to go into debt. We want to start our lives clean. We want to start our lives fresh, looking forward into the future, because obviously finances can be really, really hard on a relationship. Imagine bringing like 100,000 Rand debt into the wedding, or into the marriage as you start your marriage. It can be really, really frustrating. So I sleep very peacefully. Thank you very much. So thank you so much guys for joining this video. I really hope this has helped, and yeah, see you next time.